guys, today we're going to learn complex number. Okay, so complex number is basically, let's say when we solve some questions like x square equals to minus 1, and by taking root both side we write x equals to root of minus 1 in our calculator, then we get something called as math error in our calculator, right? So this is the point where from where complex number starts, right? So complex number is basically when you have a root of negative number. From there we have defined in complex number, like complex number can have two parts, real part and imaginary part, right? So complex number is generally represented by g. So g can have a plus iota b. A is the real part and b is the imaginary part. Okay, so if they ask like re and im, these are the two standard function which gives output as real part of g, answer will be a. The real part is a here, and imaginary part of g is the imaginary part is b here, right? Okay, so see, this iota is something new for us. Okay, so this is used to, we see when we write x equals to the x equals to root minus 1, for example here, right? So this has got a new name called iota, right? So what is iota? Iota is nothing but root of minus 1. Okay, so from here now we'll try to learn some some properties of iota, some basics properties of iota. So iota equals to root of minus 1. So if we square both sides, we get iota square equals to minus 1. One important result to keep in mind, right? Then iota cube we can write as iota square into iota. So iota square is minus 1. Minus 1 into iota is iota. So what we got from here, iota cube is just minus iota. Okay, second output. Now iota power 4 if you want to calculate, then this is this we can write as iota square, and iota square is minus 1. So minus 1 square is 1. So we'll take a note from here. What note do we have? Iota power 4n means when iota has a power a multiple, when iota has power a multiple of 4, then the value is nothing but 1. So you can just ignore, because what, 1 into any number is that number, right? So iota power 4n is 1. Okay, so let's do questions on that. For example, let's say I have to calculate iota power 200. So I know that 200 can be written as 4 into 50, so it's a multiple of 4, so answer will be just 1. Okay, let's say if we have a question as iota power 201. Let's take as iota power 201, right? Iota power 201 we can write as iota power 200 plus 1. So this becomes, by rule of exponent, iota power 1, and iota power 200 is 1. This becomes 1 because it's a multiple of 4, and so we get answer as 1 into iota. Answer is just iota, right? Similarly, we can solve different sums if we just have to keep these 4 properties in mind, right? Okay, now after this we will do algebra of complex number. Okay, so we know that in algebra we have 4 major operation. One is addition, second one is subtraction, third one is multiplication, and fourth one is division, right? Okay, so addition and subtraction we learn together. So addition and subtraction, what we do real to real. If you just keep real to real, we have to do algebra, means you have to add or subtract, and imaginary to imaginary. That's all. Okay, for example For example, let's say I have G1 as 2 plus 3 iota and G2 as minus 5 minus 6 iota. Okay, if I have to calculate G1 plus G2, then just add real to real. So 2 and minus 5 together plus 3 and minus 6. So we get 2 minus 5 is minus 3, and here also we get minus 3. 3 minus 3 iota. Okay, if I have to calculate G1 minus G2, so it's 2 plus 3 iota minus of minus 5 minus 6 iota. So we get 2 plus 3 iota plus 5 plus 6 iota. So 2 plus 3, 2 plus 5 is 7, and 3 plus 6 is 9 iota. That's the answer. Okay, addition subtraction is very simple. Let's jump to multiplication. Right, so before multiplication we'll learn something about conjugate. Okay, so conjugate is nothing but, like, let's say you have one G, right? So you will have a conjugate which will be represented by G star or G asterisk, right? So if your G is A plus B iota, then your G conjugate becomes A, but instead of plus there will be minus iota. Just you have to change the sign of imaginary part. The real part will be as it is. Okay, for example, let's say if our G1 is 2 minus 3 iota, then its conjugate gonna be 2 plus 3 iota, right? Let's take another example also. Let's say our G2 is, okay, minus 3 plus 6 iota, then G2 conjugate gonna be minus 3. This plus will become minus. This will be as it is. Real part we don't have to touch. This is minus 6 iota, right? Okay, now for multiplication, now we can learn multiplication and division, right? So in multiplication you just have to multiply using distributive law. Okay, let's say let's take one example. We have to multiply 2 plus 3 iota into 2 minus 3 iota. Okay, so we'll apply distributive law. 2 minus 3 iota into plus 3 iota into 2 minus 3 iota, right? By using distributive law, right? So this becomes 2 into 2 is 4 minus 6 iota plus 6 iota minus 9 iota square, and this iota, this they are getting cancelled, and iota square is minus 1, so we get 4 plus 9, answer as 13, right? See, this question will also work as a standard result if G and G conjugate, you can see this is conjugate only. So when G and G conjugates are multiplied, okay, let's say if you have G equals to A plus B iota and G conjugate as A minus B iota. So if you find G into G conjugate, it's always A square plus B square. You can see A square, what's your A? A is 2 and B is 3. You don't have F sign, just magnitude. So it's A square plus B square is 2 square plus 3 square. So it's 4 plus 9 as 13, which we got by distributive law also, right? So this we can write in note, okay, like, so G into G conjugate is A square plus B square, right? Okay, let's do one question of division as well. So in division also conjugate plays a very key role. So let's say if you have a question as 1 upon 2 minus 3 iota, or let's do this, then we'll do another one. So okay, 1 upon 2 minus 3 iota. So for this division, what we do, we multiply and divide by conjugate of this one. So conjugate of 2 minus 3 iota is, in conjugate what we do, we just change the sign of complex part, imaginary part. Okay, not real part, you don't have to touch. So 2 will be as it is, minus 3 will be plus 3 iota, 2 plus 3 iota, and just now we learned G into G conjugate is a square plus b square. So that is 2a square plus 3a square, and 1 into any number is that number, so 2 plus 3 iota. So we have 2 plus 3 iota, and 2a square plus 3a square is 4 plus 9, 13. That's the answer. Okay. So let's do another question. Let's say we have 1 plus 5 iota divided by minus 3 plus 2 iota. So this is the question. So for this, what we'll do, we'll multiply and divide by conjugate of denominator, right? So our denominator is minus 3 plus 2 iota. So its conjugate gonna be minus 3 minus 2 iota, minus 3 minus 2 iota. We're gonna multiply and divide by the same number, right? Then see, in denominator again we have g into g conjugate, which is a square plus b square. So this gonna be, without solving, I can write minus 3 square plus 2 square. And for this we're gonna apply distributive law. So it will be 1 plus 5 iota into minus 3 minus 2 iota. Okay. So we'll continue this in next page. Okay. Just 1 second. The question was, it was 1 plus 5 iota, and okay, it was 1 plus 5 iota, then minus 3 minus 2 iota, then it's minus 3 plus this already we had solved, and what did we get? We had got 9 plus 4, 13, right? Am I correct? 1 plus 5 iota minus 3 minus 2, yeah. Okay, and now we can multiply this using long division method, sorry, distributive method. So 1 into minus 3 minus 2 iota and plus 5 iota into minus 3 minus 2 iota, and this 13 will be as it is. So 1 into any number is that number, and this is gonna be minus 15 iota plus 5 into 2 is 10 iota square divided by 13. So these two are like terms, right? So we can just add. So this is minus 3 minus 2 minus 5, 1 second, it's 15 iota. Okay, minus 2 minus 15 iota is minus 17 iota, and then this is 10 into iota square value is minus 1 divided by 13. So we get minus 3 minus 10 is minus 13 minus 17 iota. Minus 13 minus 17 iota upon 13 as the answer. Okay, that's the answer. Thank you.